Well, good morning, everyone. This is Jennifer Sanchez. You are watching us live at the Wise Morning Coffee Chat Show. I'm your host, Jennifer Sanchez, the founder of the Women's Institute of Self Development and Efficacy. Happy New Year, right? This is our new year, our first show after the new year, and we have a guest. I apologize. Our co host for the month is Kim. So, Kim, can you introduce yourself to our viewers this morning?
Of course. And yes, let me reiterate happy 2021. I'm sure we're all excited to come into this new year. My name is Kimberly Montesinos. I am a member of the WISE community, just newly joined, but I've been a part of the community for about, I would say, 3 years. Um, so just to support, go a step further and support it, I've become a member for the new year. So I'm really excited to be a
Yeah.
part of the community.
Yay. So, Kim, what do you do though? Share with us, the viewers, what do you do for a living?
Oh, so I own Crystal Clear Cleaning, which is a residential and a small commercial cleaning business. I started my business as a solo womanpreneur back in 2004. So actually, I bought it and I started it up, just January 2004. So I'm going to be going into my 17th year.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's that's amazing. So you guys gotta get to know Kim. Kim is a ball of fire. She's too much fun. We have viewers jumping on now. We have Asia. Hola, ladies. Welcome to the co-host table, Kimberly. Um, so Asia's a loyal viewer and partner. I would say she's a lot of fun. She's been on the show as a guest. So. Um, I'm excited to have Kim on, you guys. Kim, I know it's early in the morning. We might be a little little not as excited, but I'm sure after this cup of coffee, I'm gonna wake up. So right now it's coffee time. So Kim, share with us what you're drinking.
So this morning, ladies, my daughter bought for me last year for Christmas a Keurig, and I love it. So this morning, I'm drinking the last of the seasonal coffees, which is the peppermint mocha. So I'm having a little peppermint mocha, and it tastes delicious. And I have this cup that my honey gave me called Good Morning Gorgeous. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, that's
I thought that
cute.
was so sweet. So that kind of gives me a boost in the morning.
Yeah, that's really cute. So here's the golden question. Do you put sugar and cream in your coffee or in anything interesting?
Absolutely. I'm I'm more cream and sugar than coffee. So what is it? Café con leche. I'm definitely leche cafe, right?
Oh, you're so funny. Leche café. That's a new one I've heard. So now we know leche con café. That's a good way. That's a good way of putting it. I like that.
Yeah.
So Asia, she said, I showed your crystal clear cleaning page some love. Congrats on 17 years. I can't share the post, but I also have Mary. She's on with us. She said, "Hello, ladies." Um, so this is great. So I'm drinking French roasted. Oh, I feel so fancy. French roasted coffee this morning. Ladies are limitless is my mug this morning. So I think this was a gift. I know someone gave me this one. I just don't remember who on top of my head right now, but it was a gift. So the mug is awesome. We have, and then of course the viewers. If you guys are just jumping on, make sure to share with us what you're having this morning. Asia said, I'm drinking a Milky Way mocha
Wow.
from Agua Dulce, a Latino owned and operated coffee and tea room downtown Monroe, Michigan, in the Detroit area. That is awesome. That is a very creative Milky Way. That's like your leche,
Yeah.
right? Uh,
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then she said, "Ooh la la, French roast coffee, delish." I know. I feel so fancy saying like, "Ooh, French roast." Like, really? I actually, I loved, I don't know if you got to see Maria Paloma, our last co-host, but she would go to small businesses and buy their coffees and promote them on the air. So I thought I need to start getting out and finding
Yeah,
coffees. So if
yeah,
anyone has any recommendations, I want to start promoting different unique coffees outside of just like whatever is at Walgreens or Target.
yeah, it's a great idea, Jennifer. You know, the first thing caught my eye is it's Agua Dulce Latino owned, operated coffee. We need to start supporting more of our small businesses. So that's an awesome idea on your part. I definitely agree.
Yeah, so if anyone has any ideas you want to share, you want me to check out this coffee, let me know so we can look into it.
Mhm.
And that actually goes well with, the whole thing of restaurant closures.
Mm,
And I wanted to talk about it this morning because I received the email saying that 17% wait, it's 17% of restaurant closures have happened because of the pandemic,
mhm.
right? So out of all the closures, 17% are restaurants. That's terrible, right? Like, so I thought, why not, give some encouragement to our viewers to go support your small businesses. And this is not, this is all chains, this is small restaurants. Like, it's not just any specific, like only small businesses, like the big chains, they're closing down as well.
Yeah.
So I just thought, why not support, small businesses? If you have a small business in your community that's a restaurant,
Hmm.
support them. We want to encourage this, especially right now, more than ever.
Yeah, and if I could just drop a note on that, because I saw a huge increase of applicants with my business, and they were from the industry. And what's hard in that industry, it's a very hard transitional business because I had a few people work for me, and my business is labor intense, but they're used to a certain style. They're used to a different way. Their service industry is a lot different than my service industry. But it really broke my heart to see that out of 10 applicants, 8 of them were from the restaurant industry. So
Wow.
you're absolutely right. This is very, very sad. And these people are losing, these are the families that are, going to be probably homeless. They're up against because they weren't able to pay their rent. These are the families where you see in the church line, like my office is in Lyle. Where I'm at, it's very affluent. Do you know, 3 days before Christmas, there was over 250 people at the church down the street trying to get food.
Wow.
So it's everywhere. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's touching a lot of people, and it's shaming a lot of people. So we really want to be aware of this. That's a great thing that you put that out there. It's very real.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Kim, for bringing that awareness also on your end because people
Hmm.
might, you're in our bubbles, we're in our bubbles, and coincidentally, we have Maricel Melendez. She is the owner of Ponce Restaurant, so I'm sure she stayed open, she stayed afloat.
Hmm.
I know that it's harder, but we've been trying to definitely show her love because she's part of our WISE community, and she has a restaurant in Belmont Cragen area, I want to say, or is it Humboldt Park? I still don't know exactly what the area is, but I know it's on Fullerton Avenue in Chicago. So
Okay.
definitely, I know she can definitely share some information or some tidbits or any, just bring her response or her feedback on what we're talking about. Um, and we have Mary. She shared peppermint mocha from Starbucks
Oh,
made at home.
that's
Yummy.
very, that's one of my
Yummy.
favorites from them. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, both of you guys are drinking peppermint mocha this morning. Nice. So Asia, she actually is, yes, that's a great idea to promote local businesses here. That's what I do here. Get to Know Monroe County is a platform all about promoting and uplifting small local businesses with photos and video interviews of the owners and patrons. I do the same when I'm home in Chicago. So Asia's originally from Chicago, but she moved out to Detroit or the Monroe area, and she has a photography business. So I love that she's engaging and sharing this morning. Uh, so she did share also that the small business industry is suffering. We must do what we can to help. I totally agree, Asia. Um, And she says, I don't see other ladies' comments in this feed. I don't know. We have people commenting. I see Yamalet on this morning. Good morning, ladies. Good morning, Yamalet. So make sure you guys share what you're drinking this morning. If you're drinking anything, whether it's, coffee, whether it's a shake, whether it's, oh, here, Maricel, she's in Mexico right now. This woman. So I forgot. This woman, are you still in Mexico, Maricel? Actually, she is right now. I gotta share this. She is in the hometown of my husband's family in Mexico. Like it's a small world, but I saw her post and it said Valle de Juarez, Jalisco. And I was like, hold up. I was over there like 2 years ago because that's where my husband's from. His family's from. Yep, she's there. She's sharing it. She said, "Love you, ladies." 2021 Mexico. She said yes. Okay, yep, she's still in Mexico. So I was like, "Oh my God, you got to go check out this. You got to go check out. Got to have this food here or check out this pizza place." So I'm glad she's out there having fun. So Asia does see the comments on your host screen, but not in the feed. Oh, maybe it's in. I don't know why Asia's not showing, but you guys share what you're drinking. We have Yamala. She said coffee with hazelnut creamer, and if
Ooh.
someone could help Asia out for her to see everyone else's comments, that would be awesome. Um, so let's go into our conversation because I know we have a lot of stuff that we wanted to talk about this morning. And first and foremost, disagreements. I thought this was a great topic. Kim, one of the things that our co-hosts bring to the conversations, we like to bring topics that our co-hosts are interested in, right? Because we want to share a little bit about them. We want to promote our co-hosts and our guests. So, Kim, share a little bit about why you wanted to talk about this topic of disagreements.
Well, a lot of people don't really know my story, and not to make it lengthy, but I grew up in Lincoln Park as an only child, unknown that I was not adopted. So I was never legally adopted, but I did grow up in a household of three. And later on, when I was 17, my parents did time, but in the year of my senior year, they passed away. So that's when all of this secret stuff unfolded. And I found out that I actually had, on my biological mom, had 10 children. So my oldest sister had passed, but I still had nine, you know, siblings that were alive. And I was immersed into the family because I was still a minor at 17. So, needless to say, coming from an only child to acquiring that many siblings can be a challenge because everybody's got a voice, everybody's got an opinion. But it taught me a lot. And being in my business has taught me a lot on how to deal with different personalities and disagreements. Um, but what's dear to my heart is siblings. I was just sharing with Jennifer that, on my father's side that I recently found out. It's such a crazy story in my life, but I didn't find out about my real dad till I was 55, you guys, and I'm 57. And so last night, the eldest of those four siblings, he passed. And I only had a chance to meet him once, and he was just such a light, right? And 3 days ago, I was with my siblings that I met at 17, and we were having this passionate conversation. I want to know if you ladies can relate to that. It wasn't political, thank God, but it was about parenting. And so it was with three sisters and one brother and my honey, Mark. And, men have a different way of thinking about parenting, right? And so women, we kind of stood into our opinion, and my brother had an opinion. And it ended in, instead of just having an opinion and respecting the opinion, it ended in like us getting emotional and not talking. And I just, so that happened 3 days ago. And then last night I lost a brother who was very about peace and coming together and respecting the differences. So I thought talking about disagreements is so important because you don't want to allow a difference of opinion. And let me just be clear, I'm not saying disagreements because of something traumatic. I'm just talking about like an opinion or you know, basically more opinions or different dealing with different personalities, right? In like we're talking about the restaurant industry and the cleaning industry. I have 7 people that I manage. There's 7 personalities that I'm managing. I have 2 older adult children, 25 and 21, 2 different kids, right? And so I had to learn as a mom how to deal with those 2 different personalities without always feeling like you're going to lose the relationship.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. And I think when it comes to disagreement, I think one of the biggest things is understanding that people can have different opinions. I think that's one of the biggest keys is being open-minded, right? Which we've talked about in our community. If we're not open-minded, it's going to be very difficult in any way, shape, or form to get goals, to get things done, right? Being open-minded allows you to listen to other people's opinions. And one of the biggest things we talk about on the show is the fact that in our society, people nowadays, their feelings get hurt because you don't see the same thing as they see, right? Like if 2 people disagree on something, like the relationship doesn't have to end.
Right,
Right? It
right.
is what it is. Like that's your opinion. I respect it. And I think it also comes along with the idea of, I agree, like the dynamics. There might be already some dysfunction, right? And it's not our fault. It's just we haven't been brought up in a way to say, okay, this is what they believe. It is what it is. Because I have some strong convictions.
Sure.
I have some strong beliefs.
Right,
That doesn't mean that I'm gonna beat someone over the head with my opinion and want them to believe what I believe.
right.
It is what it is, right? I'm sure you agree. I don't know what you think about that.
Oh, you know what? The key to it is respect. You know, I have strong conviction.
Convictions.
That tongue didn't want to go right. So I have some strong opinions, convictions, passions. I can be very passionate about certain things, especially this year. I don't think I've ever been a passionate. I've always been one who loves peace, right? I'm more of a peace. How do I get that
Peacemaker.
peaceful?
Yeah.
I'm a peaceful girl. But this year, it's really because of our culture and how things have the dynamics of the change. We had so much change in 2020. So much change. So much things come to the forefront. Like you got to see people who they really were, right? And it could that in itself, that disagreement was tough because let me tell you, you and I both are, we network in a lot of places, and I was shocked on many levels of how people think, but I had to respect, right, and understand their point of view without it changing my perspective of how I'm going to deal with them in a business setting.
Amen. Yeah.
Sometimes, Jennifer, that was very challenging. But I think what you said is very admirable is that when you respect, you have to have a level of respect on different topics, and then you can agree to disagree. But if you don't have that respect, you got to incorporate respect and lead with respect. Lead with,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
That will help you to maintain some sort of dignity in yourself and allow that other person to say, okay, that's how you feel, that's how I feel. It's okay. At the end of the day, you've got your opinion, I got mine, but we're not going to let
Exactly.
that disrupt the relationship. Right.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. We have a couple people. Asia said, "Oh no, Kimberly. Um, they're sorry for your loss. I'm so sorry to
Oh,
hear about your loss."
yeah.
We have Amel from DR right now commenting. So hey, Amel. We have Mary. She said, "Sorry for your loss, Kim." And Asia said that the family dynamics in mi familia are odd and sad. I'm the baby, and I feel like my opinions and feelings are ignored. I'm always trying to get the family together with our children, but they don't have the same values.
Oh,
Oh, yes,
I,
I hope moving forward that my siblings and I can talk disagreements through without cancel culture, done with the end all be all. Now you're cut off BS, right? Agree to disagree
oh my
respectfully.
God.
Yeah, so she
May I
definitely.
comment on hers? Okay. That's exactly what just happened in in my family on my mom's side the other night. It was the end all, tell all, my way, highway. No. So I totally feel your pain, Asia, because that's not how we value one another, right? We have to have a value and a respect and be kind to say, okay, that's how you feel, but why do we have to take it to such an extreme level? We have different values, we have different opinions, but that's what makes inclusiveness.
Very good. Very good. Yep, you got to be inclusive, right? That's the whole idea of being diverse and having all these inclusion events. That's a great point, Kim. And she also said 2020 was a year of expressing ourselves. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I think social media is so funny, right? I feel like people almost took it to a level where if you put an opinion out on social media, let's just say
Mhm.
any opinion, Goya, for example. Okay, let me just put this out there. So many people tried going in on me about this Goya thing, right? Because I was whatever my opinion was about it, I think I was kind of upset also because I felt like it was a political move on, from the perspective. But people really got offended by it, that my comment or what I wrote.
Right.
And I kind of was getting a kick out of it because I kept seeing all these negative comments and I was like having fun. And I think some of the women in the community were just having like it was hilarious to me, to be honest with you. But I don't sit there and if someone has a different opinion than mine, I don't go on their post and try to comment something on it. Like I just look at it, be like, okay, and keep going. Like it's not a big deal. Like that's their
Right.
opinion. Okay, let me keep moving. I don't sit there and try to fight with people. Like,
Right. Right. I don't blame you.
I
That's
don't
draining.
it's training. Mind you, it might be hilarious. It might be some entertainment, but because me, I'm like, oh, that's funny. They think that, but whatever. It is what it is. Like, I respect people's opinion. It is what it is. Thank you very much. Like, that's it. But people take this very seriously. I'm talking about they like wars can break out
Yeah.
if
Oh,
because of this.
friendships can end on social media. That's why I'm very picky. I've gotten to the point, ladies, that I'm even picky on what I like because I'm out there a lot. I don't want any and this year I'm just gonna step out of that too, because I don't like feeling like, oh, I gotta watch what I do or say, because I feel passionate about my opinions as well. But again, to avoid all of that, I don't have time, so I just
Oh
even
yeah.
watch what I like. And I'm like you, I just scroll on through. When I see something positive, I'm like, hey, I'm let me like love on this and keep it moving.
Yep, yep, I agree. I agree. Thank you for sharing this, Kim. I think this is a great conversation, and I love even the whole idea of connecting parenting and our goals.
Oh.
Um, so, we were talking about disagreements in our household, but does parenting affect one, were we affected with our parents in
Mhm.
regards to how we execute goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And vice and also our kids let's think about our children. A lot of us are moms in this community. We are going to affect the way our children set goals for themselves. So let's discuss that, Kim. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, that was part of the disagreement. It's great that you chose this piece, because the disagreement that we have was parenting, right? And so what I said in this conversation is, think about how we were raised. Like, I'm older than a lot of the ladies in this community, and I'm a seasoned peach, as I always call myself, right? So in the 80s, okay, so my parents, their goals or their values were instilled in them from what, the 30s and the 40s, right? So now, or the 50s, and so now I'm a kid and I'm in the 80s, right? So what was how that generation developed, how we developed in the 80s and 90s, is way different from when I became a mom in the 90s and how my children think. Because first of all, the advancement that's gone on in the last 25 years with just technology, because we can go on and on this subject, but let's just talk about technology. My kids don't even remember a rotary phone. They don't know what a phone, what do you call a phone booth is like. They don't
Mm,
know what the first computer looks like. To them, everything is Google and Microsoft, and it's all this modern technology. They're second nature to this stuff. So how we had to learn to parent them is different because we couldn't isolate them. I was very isolated. My mom, in my day, it was termed as overprotective. I had a very overprotective mother. I was an only child, so they knew everything we did. They had tremendous control over our environment, who we played with, who we hung out with, what we could see, what we couldn't see. When we wanted to learn about anything, we had to go to our parents and depend on their truth, right?
mm.
Now I could tell my daughter or my son one thing, they go on Google or they go on Facebook or they go on whatever it was when it came out, and they can find out without me. They can Google it, right?
That's so interesting. This perspective, I love it.
And so, how I was raised, I cannot. I mean, are there certain values, family values? Absolutely. How you respect yourself as a man or as a woman? Absolutely. But how you manage and cope in life? No, it's very different. I have to adjust to this generation. We, as my generation, needs to, if we want to participate in change for the good, right? We have to acclimate ourselves to this generation, not try to pull this generation back to us. We want to go forward, right? So as a
Yeah.
parent, I parent as, okay, I'm not going to be defensive. I want to be open. Now, like I said, when you're crossing values, values are values. That's like a foundation on a house. I don't care where you at. The foundation is brick, it's mortar, it's wood, it's cement. Bam. But how you construct your house inside, it's up to you. Right?
Love it.
So, and this is what I say to my family. Can we please stop breaking each other down on how we parent and lift each other up on how we parent? Stop criticizing each other. Oh, look at how she let her do whatever. Look at how she let him do it. Look at she's taking care of everything for that child. Stop that.
Yep.
Have a conversation about, do you know what that's doing to your child? Or can we have an open discussion? Because, I'm in a point where I don't know how to handle this. That's just how we use our verbiage helps how we can lift each other up. I'm so, since being in WISE and being in other communities, I have really learned the power of words and the power of intention. Be careful of your intention, be careful of your words, and be uplifting. And the intention always on a family nucleus should be, how can I lift? How can I help? Not how can I destroy? How can I break down?
Absolutely.
And we do have to move forward, Jennifer. I mean, you're young. I've learned so much stuff with you just in social media. Imagine me in business if I wasn't open to new and innovative ideas. We
Yeah.
need to do that in parenting also. We have to be open to new and innovative ideas on how to manage our children, how to be in our children's lives, how to work with them, how to help them advance in this new world that we're all getting used to.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a great conversation. I agree. I see the ladies having a ball here with the
Oh,
comments. Mary said encyclopedias were Google. I remember. You're
yeah.
right. You're right. I grew up, I think I'm a little older than your children. I'm a Zennial, whatever they call me. I'm between Generation X and Millennial, right? This new terminology, right? So I remember like the whole you gotta search and you gotta go to the library and you gotta
Oh,
find knowledge, right? Like book reports, history fair projects, everything was library, 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 right? Now, do people go to a library still? I'm I'm sure they do.
they do, but not like we had microfiche. You know what I did? I hated going to because you had to go through that card, and then you had to go to the front and ask the lady for a microfiche. I think it was. I can't even remember the terminology anymore, but it was like this little microfilm, right? Since
Oh
you're
yes. To
very,
find
very,
stuff in newspapers, right? I remember that. For
yeah.
history fair, I remember that. So I guess now I think about it, and I even told someone not too long ago, like, I'm so thankful that we're in the pandemic while I have a teenager. Now, I'm not gonna lie, like, because it's true, like, you try to protect your children, and the possibilities of what could happen in school environments or around other kids, and you're like, man, I'm like, my daughter's a pretty girl, right? So I'm sitting here like, I need to protect this little girl. Like, so I'm kind of happy, like, you're enclosed because it's like, it's not my fault. I'm kind of isolating you from the world. It's a pandemic right now. This is how we're protecting you. But it's so, I watch these shows with my daughter and I try to engage with her, and I notice like social media is a big part of their world. Like they can get destroyed,
Hmm.
these young self-esteems through social media. And I'm sitting here like, can you imagine if I grew up with social media at that age, right? Like all these things that the kids are exposed to, or like the bullying on social media with one another. Like I've never really experienced that because we didn't have
Right.
Facebook until I was in college, right? Facebook didn't exist yet. I think we might have had MySpace when I
Oh,
was still in
please.
high school, right? Like,
That's what came out first.
yeah, MySpace came out first, right? So, but kids weren't as involved in that, and our phones were just like little. I remember the phones, like the original big Nokias,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like I got that 15, but could you even text? Like I don't even remember what we used that for.
Right. Because back in my day, you had I couldn't have a pager because it was like a lot of people thought of it like a drug dealing kind of thing. But like you had pagers. If somebody wanted to give you a 911, it was through a pager. I don't even think I think that's obsolete unless you're a doctor or something. You know what I'm saying? So look at that. May I ask you, Jennifer, how old are you?
I'm 34. I'm gonna be 34.
Now look at the difference in just 30 years. 30
Yeah,
years flies, ladies. I mean, I at 57 came and hit me, and I'm still at my mind is still at 35, right? I have to
yeah,
realize, okay, Kim, the body's the only thing that kind of says, no, it ain't, no, you're not, right? But look at how advanced we've become in 30 years. It's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, and it's insane because my generation grew with this technology. If we think about it, right?
Mhm.
I still remember Saturday morning cartoons. I don't even think regular TV has Saturday morning cartoons. Like it's just so different, right? Like I don't think you could go on regular TV and watch Saturday morning cartoons.
I don't think you're right.
Like back in the day, you gotta have cable now, or YouTube, right? This,
Look
right?
at
Like
that.
think like our kids,
Yeah,
even maybe even when someday when you have your grandkids, right? Like
yeah.
they love the YouTube shows. They
Oh,
love the YouTube's a big deal for this new generation coming up. Not for my generation. I just watch them,
mhm.
right? But it's a different.
And on YouTube, they learn stuff. Like before, I've even had my son say, I'm going to go change my oil. My son will be like, oh, mom, I'll do it. I can just YouTube it. Like I'm still learning how broad YouTube is, like the actual, how to really utilize YouTube. There's so many ways that you can learn on YouTube, right? And
Yeah.
I'm still
Yeah. I'm having a ball looking at these comments. I gotta share these comments.
okay.
Um she put Asia, she said, I'm a Zenio as well, Jennifer. The library was my home away from home. I make Mijo go to the library and do research the old school way. That is so nice. So he's
Oh,
appreciative of Google convenience at his fingertips. That is
great.
nice. Yamalet said, oh my god, I met my hubby on MySpace. I love that. I
That's
love
so
that.
cute.
That is cute. Asia said, yeah, social media as a teen is a
Oh,
beast. MySpace was mind blowing for me, and I was in my 20s. Ha ha ha. She said,
let me I
OMG.
was afraid of it. Can you believe that? I was afraid of that stuff because I thought it was predatorial.
Yeah, I could totally understand that. Asia, oh my God, remember when you had certain amount of text you could send for a month? Yeah,
Yes.
like call me after this time, or I remember that. Uh,
Yes.
kids got off MySpace because too many parents were on there. Is that why kids got off?
Oh,
Oh,
look at that. I didn't know that, Mary.
Yeah, there's a bunch of comments here. Oh my God, I don't know if I could share all of them. OMG, remember when you had a certain amount of tax? That what I shared. Kids got off on MySpace because too many parents were on there. With social media, you have to have tough skin right now. Ignore the trolls and keep it going. There are many trolls, absolutely. Or cell phone minute plans, ha ha ha. So they're having conversations here on the side with themselves. They have Cartoon Network and Nick 24/7 now. No Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh,
I miss that. Um,
look, I
we
know that.
yeah. How is the fact that they're pregnant? Pick men ship. So we have. I saw an app called Rethink that will catch bullying before you post it.
Oh,
Oh,
that's awesome.
that
That's
is
awesome. Yeah.
nice.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, free nights and weekends. I remember that. Mexico voice is not working, but how it's affecting handwriting. Oh, she
Oh, she's and not only handwriting, but how you communicate properly without using like what we called back in the day shorthand. People speak in shorthand terms. So what is that called now?
is
You know,
it
like when you say
LOL or
right. Yes.
BRB, and I'm like, oh, I can't speak that language. I know it.
Yeah.
Um, I know, right? Like IKN. I think Angel's one that does that all the time. Like, what that one mean? Like, I don't
Yes.
remember what all of these mean. Um,
That
but
was
yeah,
that was good. Whoever wrote that. That's see how you kind of start thinking about how this can also dummy us down. Like for me, when I got my business just in 2004, I would map quest my houses because I wasn't from this. I'm a city girl. So my business has always been in the suburbs because when I got married, my husband moved to the suburbs, right? I used to have my day posted on my dashboard, ladies, and I would read how to get to my houses.
oh yeah, map.
My map quest. I would put in the house, print it out, and paste it on my dashboard. Now, if you ask me how to go around the corner, I'm like, let me GPS it. See
Yep.
how you know what I'm saying?
Life is so much easier,
Yes.
which is good. And I guess even with goal setting, I guess now I understand this conversation because I thought, we were talking about like literally setting goals, but it is a different time set. It's a different time with how we engage as adults, as
Yeah.
parents, and understand the technology and understand the times we're in so that we can help children with their goals or help our kids become more like even Asia sharing how she makes her kid go to the library and do old school researching. Like that in itself is a big deal. Like you're still investing time in your children. Thank you, Maricel, for joining us. Right, you're still investing time in your children,
Yeah.
setting goals for them. um you know f- and now I understand the time that we live in is a big deal when it comes to guiding our kids
Yeah.
with what they need to accomplish.
Yeah. Because I think like this. It might be more advanced, but I don't think it's going to be such a transition like when my children have kids. It's just going to be like how the iPhone evolves every 2 3 years. It's kind of it's not such a big jump, right? You just kind of casually go into that next level. Whereas with my generation to when I had children, oh my God, it was a total turmoil of change, and it's
Yeah.
all at once. Like how you talk to your children. How my parents used to spank me. When I had kids, it was like they're little people. You don't do that. I mean, you
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
me shamed for so much stuff, and then you throw technology on there. That's like
Yeah. Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no book on how to parent. So
Yeah, I think even nowadays, like there's these words that were never talked about before, like trauma, right? Or empaths,
I know.
or right, like
Mhm.
triggers,
I
right?
know.
Like if you weren't on social media, you wouldn't know these words unless you were a social worker, unless you were trained professional. You're not going to know this terminology, right? But
Absolutely.
now we know it. Now we have more awareness on things we can or cannot do. So like the spanking, right? Like a lot of people shame, if
Hmm.
you spank, now I know that you can spank as long as it's on the butt,
Yeah.
because culturally, right?
Right.
When let's say something were to happen, God forbid, like DCFS were to get involved, they
Mhm.
culturally send an appropriate representative to check on the incident, right? So,
Mhm.
for example, if you're Latina and something happened, they're gonna send a Latino, social worker, case manager to check on the situation. They're not gonna send a different race
Mhm.
because culturally they know what's acceptable in our culture,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it's not gonna make sense. So
Right.
I think this is even like just to point out how there are cultures that are still spank, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And there's some cultures that don't spank and they don't believe in spanking. And now in this generation, people are really like anti-spanking. But you know, s- I don't know, spare the rod, spoil the child, right? Like
I heard
like there's still a certain degree, and not that there's a difference between beating and
yeah.
spanking. Like
Absolutely.
hit them on the butt,
Absolutely.
right?
Right.
Like
Right.
so. But who knows, right? There's people that disagree with that nowadays. Like,
Yes. We
and we gotta respect it.
absolutely respect it and do our best.
Exactly, exactly. So I think this is a great conversation, and I think we wanted to even talk about personalities, right? And how our personalities, right, with the disagreements. Many of you and Kim touched upon it earlier, how just by having different personalities, that can cause a lot of disagreements in a household, in a home, even in your own pet family, right? Inside your household,
Right.
right?
Right.
Um, it's amazing to find out how, like, when you have more than one child as an adult, you see their little personalities and you're like, oh, this one's my shy one, this is one my angry one, this is my outgoing one, right? Like you could kind of see everyone's personalities. And I have always wanted a big family. It
Mm-hmm.
was just me growing up, it was just me and my sister, so I didn't get that much exposure, right? I only knew three other people in my home besides myself and my cat, so like now I'm like, I would love to, have a big family and see the dynamic of how siblings work with one another and
Mm-hmm.
different genders and different ages. That's just me. I love the fact that you have a lot of siblings, Kim, right? Like,
I acquired them at 17. So at 18, I moved out on my own because it was too much of a shock to me. But over my 20s, and then I think our relationships became closer once I became a mom. But I didn't become a mom until I was 30. So I've always, in my younger years, I've always shied away from conflict. I'm not one that likes conflict. I was always the kid that was the negotiator and the like, can't we all get along kind of kid.
a
So
peacemaker,
the
yeah.
peacemaker always. But like I said, through your program, I learned to look at conflict differently, and it's helped me immensely. I mean, and to have a voice, because see, there we go, talking about generation things. Like my mom's personality that raised me was very straightforward, direct. That's it. Okay, so her raising me, when she saw me being loving or negotiating, she looked at it like a weakness, because she'd say, you're gullible, or you can't be like that, you can't wear your heart on your sleeve because people will take advantage of you. And my mom had good intention, but it caused me to feel like I didn't have a voice. So it's not, now that I took the course with you, I realize it's not that I'm not confrontational. That's not true. It's that I didn't value my own voice. So now that
Mm,
I value my voice and I value myself, that I deserve to have an opinion, it's all in the delivery.
that's deep.
My delivery is the same. I will deliver it to you peacefully. I will deliver it to you. My tone might go up and down depending on how passionate I am about what I'm talking about. But I still have the base of the ultimate goal for me is that we have inclusiveness and we get along, right? No matter what the difference is. But I no longer fear confrontation. You see
That's
what I'm
deep.
saying? Mm-hmm.
That's I love the part where you said you value your opinion now,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I love the idea because there are people that hate confrontation, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are
Mm-hmm.
people that love confrontation, but there are
Right.
people that hate confrontation, right? So, but a key piece was that you valued what your opinion was, and that's why now you're okay with
Mhm.
getting into some sort of, and it's not confrontation. It's not like a bad thing. It's like, defending yourself in the sense of with words in disagreements,
Mhm.
saying this is my opinion, this is what I believe. So
Mhm.
I love that. That's great advice for someone to listen to and say, if you value your opinion, you value who you are, you're
Mhm.
okay with sharing your opinion with others. You're
Right.
okay
Don't be
with.
afraid. Don't be afraid because ultimately, when like what I learned, like if you want to do anything, because let me tell you, I was the I hate confrontation girl. I really was like that. We're talking maybe three or in the last 5 years that's come to fruition of me being comfortable with it, right? So it's just a mindset click. And I look at confrontation more like when if a obstacle arises. Like most ladies here either are in business or they're professionals or even in the home, even as a mom. When conflict arises, when an obstacle arises, look at conflict like this is just an obstacle that I need to find a solution instead of saying, oh, if I say something, I'm going to make it worse or like I said, I don't value what I'm going to say. Just go ahead and step into it because the more you deal with it and find your niche of how to deal with confrontation, the better you get at it.
Yep, yep. It's an art. It definitely is an art to learn how to deal with conflict. Uh, I think it's a skill that needs to be developed. And
Great point.
right, like
Right.
sometimes growing up in certain households, you learned how to deal with conflict in a certain manner that might be very dysfunctional. No one taught our parents, going back to the whole even parents, like our parents are not taught, like, here's a conflict resolution course for you to take, for you to learn how to solve your conflict in your home.
Right.
No, they only know what their parents know,
Right.
and or what they see on TV, right? And but I think that you're right. If we keep practicing it, get
Mhm.
comfortable with it, we'll get better at it, and it won't be so scary, to be like, oh, let me get into a confrontation right now. It's not like an aggressive thing. It doesn't. I always say you can have a smile on your face when you deal with conflict,
Mhm.
right? You don't have to be mean about it, but people hear conflict and they already like thinking aggressive, thinking fight. They're thinking, right, especially depending on how they were raised.
Right. Absolutely. Great point.
Yeah.
Environmentally, how do you look at conflict? Exactly. Right.
Yeah. Good, good. Well, this is great conversation. I know that we're gonna wrap up now. So, Kim, I want to give you a couple of minutes to share what you're doing, anything that you want to promote or share with the ladies that are watching. And if anyone's watching, they want to share also any promos that they have, I like to say this is the show that's going to pay you. So, right, if you share, anything you want people to check out or anything that you want to promote, share it in the comment section. But Kim, go ahead and share anything that you got going on right now.
So actually, right now we're just coming out of our the first time that I offered a package for like a yearly package for cleaning. So we're done with that. So we're going to be this week rolling out a new event. So stay tuned next week. Maybe I'll have something. I mean, I know I will have something, but I just want to leave you with this: that cleaning is no luxury, ladies. It's not a luxury. Pandemic, it's a huge necessity to know how to clean. There's a just as Jennifer was saying, there's an art to conflict. There's an art to cleaning, and it's not just using Fabuloso and bleach. Because there's a lot of different ways that can be harmful, and it's like I said, it's really important to disinfect and sanitize, and that's what I'm passionate about in my business. So, if you ever have any questions, you can always reach out to me. And it's not for me to have you use my service; it's just really to help you. So, you want me to put my like website in the chat, or how do I do this, Jennifer?
Yeah, at the end, you can go back and put it in the
Yeah,
comment section. Yeah, but
actually,
definitely, or
actually, they could visit. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but visit my Facebook page, which is Crystal Clear Cleaning, and the clears with a K. I did a lot of videos, and look for the 3-step. The 3-step video teaches you like how to the 3 steps of actual cleaning. And I'm sorry, so it's time for me to go soon. So 3 steps of cleaning and look for what is a dwell time. So those are key components of how you can keep your own house clean and sanitized. And you can reach me if you need it, if you have any questions through the Facebook. That's a great way.
Yay! Check out Kim. For those that don't know Kim, go check her out. She did do 10 days of cleaning videos.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool to watch. I caught some of those. So thank you again, Kim, for being our co-host for the month and being on the show with us this morning. I know it's early, but you got on.
Coffee.
You got your coffee. So everyone, you could definitely check our website, womenselfdevelopment.org. Follow us on our women's self-development. We're on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. You can catch the replay on YouTube as well. And then of course we have a free Facebook group called the Wise Women Support Group that you can join if you want to just know more about us, know more about our community, meet the women, and you'll be learning more about our promos that will be coming because we have a lot of stuff planned for 2021 that I'm very excited about. And I know that we have so many comments here and I can't share all of them now, but I appreciate everyone engaging. Make sure you guys share any promos or anything in the comment section, and you guys have an amazing day, amazing week.
Yeah.
Thank
See you
you.
next week.
See you next week. Bye.